And we are live. Welcome back for another stream, everyone. It's the first game week of the year, and it's the first double game week of the season. How are we all doing today? Hope you're all doing well. Hope you all had a good New Year's. My New Year's resolution is to get a green arrow for once. So let's hopefully we'll start the year off with a green arrow. Start as we mean to go on. So welcome to the stream, everyone. Hope you're all doing well. Hope you're all buzzing for another year of FPL. The first double game week of the season, as I say. Welcome to the stream, Sebastian, Ryan, SK, Dan, Sletten, Tom, Milos, Alfie, Sims, Jake, Patrick, Adam, Ali Basha, Sam. Good to see lots of members in the chat as well. Welcome to the stream, everyone. How are we all doing today? Haven't made my transfers yet. I'm going to make them today. I'm probably just going to make one transfer. I'm really tempted to make two. I'm tempted to do Darwin to Mitrovic and James to Trent, but it feels a little bit not sure. I think if you've got a bad gut feeling about a transfer like that, which I do, I think you just don't go with that move. So I'm probably going to do a boring James to Shaw transfer. I'll talk about my transfers a bit more later and why I'm doing that rather than other potential transfers. It's really difficult this week, especially if you've got Darwin and Martial. I think they've both got their merits. Welcome to the stream, Morgan, Harry Davies, Jake Lewis, there's another Oscar, and many more. Welcome. Get your questions in, lots to talk about. As I said, it's the first double game week of the season, as you are all well aware, no doubt. We've got Fulham, who have a double game week against Leicester and Chelsea, and then Chelsea have a double game week against Man City and Fulham. So to be fair, it's not a great double game week. There's going to be many more this season. And we do have to be careful not to fall into the traps that these double game weeks can present. So, yeah, I'd err on the side of caution, with players like Azpilicueta and, like Willian, these kind of players. I wouldn't be going there personally. You might get away with Azpilicueta with James out, but you never know. Chalobah could get a game in right back. So, James Price says, why are you not getting Mitrovic? Yeah, this is giving me such a headache this game week because I think he's the best captain option. But long term, his fixtures are really bad. I mean, look at Fulham's fixtures after the double. It's Newcastle away. That's really tough this season. Tottenham, Chelsea. And then the fixtures start to get better again in 23. I know Mitrovic can score against anyone, but I'm just not sure about selling Darwin, who I still think is going to come good. Maybe I'm going to die on this hill, but I think Darwin's going to come good. His numbers have been ridiculous, so I think that's enough justification to keep Darwin. And then Martial, home to Bournemouth. It just feels wrong to sell him before such a good fixture. Bournemouth have conceded the most goals this season. So again, I'm just not sure about selling Martial for Mitrovic. So I think I'm going to swerve both and instead just fix James. I could do two transfers, but I think I have to prioritise James. So that's why I'm thinking James out. Probably for Luke Shaw. Man United top of the clean sheet odds. And then I'll save the second transfer. The other thing is that, we'll talk more about this later, is that Man United could get double game week 20. So we're all thinking about this double game week now, but double game week 20 is still not locked in. Even for Man City and Tottenham, that's not locked in yet. They may not double. But Man United even have a chance of doubling in 20. So that's on my mind as well. I'd hate to sell Martial for him to smash it against Bournemouth, which could happen, and then for Man United to get a double game week 20. So yeah, all that's on my mind. I don't know if I'm overthinking it. What are you guys doing? Are you guys selling Darwin? Are you selling Martial? Are you avoiding Mitrovic entirely? Leanne in the chat, she says, I feel you, Oscar. I'm holding Darwin as well. Good luck and Happy New Year. Happy New Year, Leanne. Yeah, hopefully the Darwin patience comes off because I think a lot of people are going to be selling him for Mitrovic. Kofi Shaw, thank you for becoming a member as well. I thought you were a member already. But thank you for that, Kofi. Appreciate that. Thanks for all your support. Long time subscribe for the channel. I recognise lots of names in chat and comments, like people who leave recurring comments. I know some of you don't at all and you just come to live streams or you just watch my stuff. That's fine. But Kofi, I recognise, Leanne, FPL Flames, Adam, Ayush in the chat. Ayush said, what's your transfer this week? I think I'm going to do James to Shaw. It's a pretty boring transfer, but Man United top of the clean sheet odds. So I think I'm going to just concede to a pretty boring one this week and then see in Game Week 20. If Man United don't get that double, then I'll use those two transfers to shake the team up I could move Martial on because then they've got 2 tough fixtures. There's lots of ways I could go. I could move Almiron on, but probably wouldn't want to because the fixtures are good for Newcastle after. But Arsenal are on my mind. You know, Ødegaard, Martinelli, Nketiah, they're all smashing it, and all I've got is Saka, who's actually done the worst, I think, of all of them since the restart, which is a bit unlucky as well. But anyway, that's the way the season's been going. I don't know my name. It says, thoughts on Bueno instead of Cancelo and Captain Rashford. I would be starting Cancelo if I had him instead of Bueno. I can understand the temptation, but I think Cancelo starts. I think he has to start him. You know, Pep's been taking some heat about some of his selections. He got away with it a couple of game weeks back, but a draw against Everton at home is not good. So I think Cancelo starts. I wouldn't be surprised if Foden starts over Grealish as well. It's an important game, you know. City are losing ground again on Arsenal, so they can't afford to drop points against Chelsea. Rashford captain, I don't mind that at all. That crossed my mind. I was thinking about Haaland, I was thinking about Rashford. I've even been thinking about Kepa and Cucurella, but right now I've got on Haaland. I don't think that's going to change. It's a weird week because, in fact, if I just pull up the captaincy from today's experts video, this is what the experts were doing for this game week. That most of them, 39% are on Mitrovic, then it's Haaland. It feels like a very rare opportunity to have Haaland captain and for it to actually affect your rank, because normally we're all on Captain Haaland. So I quite like that as well, in Haaland's favour. But Rashford's a good pick as well, don't get me wrong. I really like that fixture. Thank you as well to Marsh for becoming a member. Appreciate that. Thank you, Marsh. And thanks again to Coffee for becoming a member. If anyone's interested, you get early access to my videos. You get a little badge by your username, coloured username. Yeah, there's a private channel on Discord. You just link your YouTube account and then you'll get access automatically. And it supports the channel, so thank you for that. Ivan says, is Gakpo playing? Gakpo's not starting. I've got the leaked lineup for you guys, which I'll give to you now. We'll just quickly run through the news roundup and then we'll finish with the Liverpool lineup. So yeah, Pep's been pressed on some of his selections and, you know, things like benching Cancelo, benching Foden. Basically, he was saying it's body language. I don't know if that's a genuine answer, but he's basically been saying some players have been giving him better body language than others. So that's on his mind. Perhaps Lewis has had a smile on his face and Cancelo's not been happy, but I don't know. Tony's in contention for the Liverpool game. He could be available. That's all we know at the moment. I don't think there's anything more than that since, unfortunately. So, yeah, an awkward one. I suppose if you've got him, it's fine to sell because it's a tough game, or you could bench him. Kulusevski obviously missed Tottenham's last game. Conte said in the last training session he had a little problem. I hope it's only this game, but tomorrow we have another scan to understand better the problem with his ankle. So it doesn't sound good for Kulusevski either. I think I would be tempted to sell unless you've got a good option you can start ahead of him, just in case Tottenham get that double game week in Game Week 20, which isn't locked in yet. I know it's on the fixture ticker, but it's like a 70% chance for that happening. And then I've got the leaked Liverpool lineup here, which I'll read out. It's Alisson in goal. Back four is Trent, Konate, Virgil and Tsimikas. So a couple of changes there. No Robertson in the starting 11. Not sure if he makes the bench. Matip drops out for Konate. Fabinho's back in the team as well. That's massive from a defensive perspective. Thiago, Harvey Elliott, and then the front three is unchanged. Ox, Salah and Nunez. No Gakpo, Slaughter, but I'm not sure if he's on the bench or not. He might make the bench. I haven't seen anything as far as what the bench is. So there we go. Yeah, welcome to the stream, everyone. Good to have you here. 1,600 tuned in already. If you are enjoying the stream so far and the news roundup and all the bits and bobs I prepare for these streams, hit like on the stream, show your support, subscribe to the channel if you're not already. I do lots of content every game week and these live streams, so I appreciate all your support. Sam Pledger says James to Trent. I actually don't hate that transfer. I really considered it, but I can't afford it in one go. I would have to do Darwin to Mitrovic and James to Trent. I'm still not... I'll probably make my mind up on this stream, which isn't a good idea, but I think I'll probably just do James to Shaw, but I don't mind James to Trent at all. I wouldn't go for Tsimikas. I know that we know he starts tonight, but I wouldn't go there. FPL Adventure says he's liked the stream in all 4 of his accounts. I'm not sure about that. I might get done for fudging the numbers. But thank you for that. Luke C says, how many double game week players do you need plus Andreas captain? I think this is going to be an overrated double game week. There's going to be lots to come this season, and I think this is going to be a fairly overrated one. That's just my take. I think honestly you're okay if you've got 2 or 3. Most of us have got Andreas, some don't. Lots of you have got Mitrovic, I don't. Chelsea defence, I've got double Chelsea defence, but let's be honest, what are the odds of them keeping a clean sheet against City? Fulham away is not easy either, so I wouldn't worry too much, honestly. I wouldn't get too concerned if you've only got 1 or 2. There's going to be many better double game weeks to come. I mean, we've got the potential double game week 20 right after this one, which is a much better double game week. This one isn't locked in though, so Man City could double against United and Tottenham, and Spurs could double against Arsenal and Man City. This isn't locked in yet. For this to happen, when Man City and Spurs play in the FA Cup, they can't draw either of their games. If they draw a game, then they have to play a replay, a second leg, the following midweek after game week 20, which means that midweek is no longer available for this double game week to be played in. I think a lot of people might miss out on this. This isn't something that they've made clear on the FPL website, and it's not a locked-in double game week. We won't know until right before the double game week 20 deadline. But double game week 23, Arsenal C, much better double game week, and there's going to be loads more to come this season. The one in 23 is locked in. Hope that helps. Andreas captain, not for me. It just kind of feels like Weghorst and Dennis last season captaining Andreas. I mean, what do you guys think? I'll do a captain poll in a second. I'm curious who you guys have got the captaincy on. Tyler says Almiron to Mount. Thoughts? See, I'm not convinced by the Mount transfer, honestly, and selling Almiron. I know this game week's not a good fixture, but after that, Almiron for 5.8 mil, or whatever you picked him up at, could be less. 4 good games there. Fulham, Palace, West Ham, Bournemouth. I feel like you sell him for Mount. Mount's not really done much. I know he scored in the first game back, but it was outside the box. He wasn't really taking up dangerous areas, not that involved. I'm not sure if I would do it. I don't think I would. It was a move I looked at, and I'm personally not doing it. I looked at something like James to Shaw or James to Dunk, and then Almiron to Mount, but I decided against it. So for me, it's a no, that one. Andrew says, start Cancelo or bring in Shaw for -4. I would start Cancelo. My gut feel is that Cancelo starts this one after a dodgy result. Drawing to Everton at home. A game they were expected and should have won. You know, Cancelo is one of their best players. I think they missed him, so I think Cancelo starts. I wouldn't take a -4 for sure myself. But I don't tend to take many -4s. Let's do a captain poll. I'm interested to know what you guys are doing for captaincy. Who's your captain for game week 19? So what are the main options? Mitrovic, I guess Mount, Haaland, and other. I suppose there's players like Havertz, but I can't fit him in. There's only 4 options. Darwin to Watkins. Not sure about that one. Watkins. Did I miss a super chat? Hang on, let me scroll up. Get your votes in on that captain poll. Sorry, Matt. Yeah, you're on a wild card. Can you build a quick wild card team? God, let me think. All right, let's give it a go. Quick wild card team. So I would keep Kepa in goal. I'd be tempted to keep Ederson because Cancelo's not been playing, so I think I'd actually leave the keepers the same. The midfield I definitely would change. I would probably go... I think I'd go Martinelli. One of Martinelli or Ødegaard. I mean, they're both about on par for me. I mean, Ødegaard's on more points and 0.2 mil less, so probably that. I wouldn't have Martial because it's a 1 week punt then. Minus 0.4 in the bank, and then I would just change James to someone. Who are the options for 5.3 mil? maybe Shaw. Something like that. And then maybe Patterson for Botman. I quite like the double Newcastle defence. I think I'd leave De Bruyne in just in case they get the double Gameweek 20. Something like that. Maybe I'd leave myself with an extra 0.2 or 3 so I can do De Bruyne to Salah. But I think it'd be very close to that. Maybe you could change Edison out, but I quite like Edison because then you get a double Gameweek this week, potentially another one in 20 when a lot of people are stuck with Cancelo or a Man City defender that doesn't play both, whereas with Edison at least you know he will. So I think it'd be like that if I was on a wild card. Just maybe you could change Rashford to Mount, something like that. But I think it'd be very close to that. Maybe not Darwin either. Maybe you could go Nketiah. And that frees up money to do Odegaard to Mount. It would be very close to that. It's hard to think on the spot though, because there's so many different ways you can do it. But it'd be very close to that. Yeah, and De Bruyne's been annoying since the restart, but I think I would probably leave him in just because of that double Gameweek 20. Thanks for the super chat, Blair. Excuse me, young man. How do I fit Andreas in my team for the double? Your bench is Martinelli, KDB, or Darwin. Thanks from the FPL Nan. Andreas. I think you'd bench Martinelli to fit Andreas. You wouldn't feel very good about it, but I think you have to bench Andreas there. Yeah, it has to be. I mean, you can't bench De Bruyne. You can't bench Darwin. Thanks for the super chat, King of Mandalore as well. Appreciate that. Thank you. Shaker Maker says, Mount and Rashford for Zaha or keep him for this game week. Yeah, I'd sell Zaha. Who have Palace got? Don't their fixtures turn badly now? Trying to remember who Palace have got. I remember they had 2 good games and then the fixtures turned for the worst. So they got Tottenham at home. So yeah, I'd sell Zaha. Mount or Rashford? Problem is, after this game week, Rashford's fixtures aren't good, so it feels like maybe that boat sailed. But it's close. Probably I'd give it to Mount just about. I think Mount, because at least you get 2 game weeks out of Mount. Yeah, I think I would. I'd go for Mount between the 2, because then at least you've got Palace at home as well, which isn't bad. The thing is, it's down to whether Man United double as well in game week 20. I've got a screenshot from Ben Crellin. He tweeted this a few days ago, and it's, in his opinion, a summary of the teams who have at least a 50% chance of doubling in a game week between game week 19 and 28. So Man City and Tottenham, we know about that, 70% chance. 55% chance that Man United double in 20, in his opinion. But we just won't know until after the FA Cup games. It depends on some other FA Cup results. So, if we knew for a fact that Rashford doubles, then it'd be Rashford, but we don't. And to be fair, those odds aren't very high, so I would favour Mount there. There's also, in his opinion, a 60% chance of Arsenal, Everton and Brighton doubling in 21. And then, in game week 21 or 26, he's very confident that Liverpool double. So this is the other thing, going back to not selling Martial and selling Darwin, that they could both end up with a double in the next few game weeks. So yeah, it's tricky. I think I'm going to swerve Mitrovic and just hope for the best. But I'll lock in my transfer later on the stream. It'll probably just be James to Shaw. Dimitri can't afford Martial to Mitrovic, so he's selling Darwin, but Rashford captain or Haaland captain. Captain and Mitrovic reminds me of Dennis. Yeah, I don't think it's as bad as Dennis. Dennis we were captaining a Watford striker. Watford weren't really scoring that many goals. And it was not the best double game week, and we did the same with Weghorst, I think. Mitrovic, to be fair, is a better striker than both of them, but I know what you mean. It's not the best fixture pairing, Leicester away, Chelsea home. Between those two, I think Haaland captain, but I think it's close. I think Rashford's a genuine option as well. I think the nice thing about this game week is it's a double game week, so captaincy is going to be really spread. As I said earlier on the screenshot from the experts, captaincy is going to be really spread. This is what the experts are doing this game week. Those of you might have seen the video from earlier today. 39% are on Mitro, 26% Haaland, 18% Mount, Rashford, Havertz, Andreas, Darwin, Salah. So you can afford to go with your gut this week. There's less to lose, right? In a normal game week, let's pretend Man City do get this double game week 20, everyone's going to be on Haaland. It's going to be boring as far as captaincy because everyone's going to be on Haaland and you'll gain next to nothing for any points Haaland gets. You might even lose rank because there might be some triple captaincy active that make you drop rank if he's just your captain. But this game, there's so many options, so don't be afraid to go with your gut for someone like Rashford or Haaland. I think they're absolutely fine. I think Mitrovic is the best option, but I haven't got him. So yeah, 2,199 watching. Welcome to the stream all. Hope you have enjoyed it so far. We've got just over an hour till the deadline. Appreciate you all being here. Don't forget to drop a like on the stream if you have enjoyed it so far. We've got 300 likes now, so if everyone hits like now, we'll blow past 600, I reckon. Well, if everyone did it, we would comfortably, but when I say everyone, there's actually a percentage of you that are like, yeah, I'm listening, but I'm not doing it. Welcome to the stream, Delia. How we doing? Happy New Year, Sean. Thanks again for the memberships last stream, Sean. He says, thoughts on Sterling captain? Now, that's an interesting one. Again, I don't mind that at all. It's a little bit bold. I don't mind it. I've got the projected points from FPL Review here, and they do have him third, to be fair, on the projections. They've got Mitrovic top of 8, Mount on 7.8, 7.2 for Sterling. I don't mind the Sterling captaincy at all. I really don't. As I said earlier, this is actually a game week where you can afford to get a little bit creative with captaincy. You know, don't go crazy. Don't go triple captain in Andreas or something. But I don't mind Sterling at all. But yeah, I kind of agree with these projections. Mitrovic does make the most sense. Mount's not far behind, but you can see single game makers like Salah here. So if your gut feel is that Salah is actually the best option, then don't be afraid to just stick with Salah. So the captain poll results among you guys: 44% are on Mitro, 9% Mount, 33% Haaland, and 13% on other. Interesting. Thanks for the super chat, Harry Feldman. Harry Feldman in the chat. Thank you also, Harry, for the memberships last stream. Unbelievable stream and support from Harry last stream. He says, I took out Cancelo and Greenwood to bring in Mitrovic and also Botman. Do you think that is wise? And then I'll stick with Haaland captain, Mr. Consistent. Yeah, this is it. You know, although we've got these double game weeks, Haaland is Mr. Consistent. Look at his returns over the season. There's every chance that he puts a couple past Chelsea and you've got a 13 pointer from a single game weeker. He took out Cancelo and Greenwood to bring in Mitrovic and Botman. I don't mind that at all. No, I think those are a really nice pair of moves, actually. Botman's someone I've talked about on recent streams and videos because everyone's got Trippier, so you gain next to nothing when Newcastle keep a clean sheet or points he gets. But you know, if Newcastle keep a clean sheet, you've got the Trippier points, obviously, but then you've also got the Botman points. In fact, look at the last 5 game weeks, 5 clean sheets in a row. Ridiculous. And Botman's like 4.4. He might have gone up to 4.5 now. So I think he's a really good pick. And it makes sense to downgrade Cancelo, who's not started the last 2. He might start the next one, but I don't mind that at all. And then you've upgraded Greenwood, who's not playing, obviously, to Mitrovic, who's got a double. Yeah, really good moves. Really good moves. FPL1 says, Happy New Year, Focal. Happy New Year, mate. He says, I've got 2 free transfers. Thoughts on Darwin to Mitro for 1. And roll the other 2 transfers on Martial and James to Mitro and Shaw. So I'm in the same dilemma, and I think I'm going to leave Darwin. It's really close, but I think I'm going to leave Darwin. I might die on this hill, I might be wrong, but I'm not selling Darwin. So no Mitrovic for me personally. Again, I would go with your gut on that one because he is top of the projections, but I'm swerving Mitrovic. I'm keeping Darwin. I am doing James to Shaw in all likelihood. I don't think my plan will change now. I don't mind those 2 transfers. I just think that having 2 banked will be powerful in the next few game weeks because there's going to be more double game weeks to come. We may need to shake our teams up. You know, Rashford's fixtures turn not great. I may want to double up on Arsenal with Odegaard, Martinelli, or maybe Nketiah. I'll fix James this week. That's the problem that needs fixing, so I'll do that. But yeah, the rest I think I'll just leave. So I'm making 1 transfer, carrying 2 across. That's me personally. it is hard to say whether it's right or not. There's obviously a chance that Mitrovic does well. He could score in both games, and that would be brutal. There's also a chance that he gets booked in the first game, misses the second, and then it's a single game week for him away to Leicester. But that's FPL. It's a gamble. It's really close, but that's what I'm doing. I'm not selling Darwin. Hasbullah says Robertson benched. Yeah, for anyone that missed it, I've got the Liverpool lineup here. I'll just put it up on screen. No Robertson. Obviously, he got injured last game. Kanate comes in for Matip. Fabinho comes into midfield. I think that's for Henderson. Same front three. Ox, Salah and Nunez start up top tonight. And the goal scorer odds, this doesn't include the double game weeks. This is from checkthechance.com. They've got Haaland top, 44.5% chance according to the bookies. Then Salah, then Darwin, Martial. Again, this is the other reason why I'm just not sure about selling Darwin and Martial. I know Mitrovic is only one game, but you know, Darwin and Martial are so good on the goal scorer odds, joint third. So there's so many things at play that make me think I'm probably going to swerve Mitrovic. I might end up regretting it, but that's where I'm at the moment. And obviously Rashford's up there, who we talked about. I think he's a genuine captain option. Haven't heard anything on Tony Tahir. All I heard is that he might make the stream. Happy New Year, Chris. How you doing, mate? Good to see you. Adam says, Oscar, should I buy Andreas? Depends who for. I wouldn't be ripping your team up to buy Andreas. I think he's a fine transfer. He's a perfect player to bring in, and then you could probably bench him for the few after that. You know, 2 goals, 6 assists this season. What more can you ask for 4.6 mil? So, yeah, I don't think there's anything wrong with bringing him in. Take set pieces. He's on corners. He's got Mitrovic to aim at. But it depends who for. I set my team up so that I bench Almiron this week, who's away to Arsenal. And then I start Andreas for this one. And then Almiron comes back in for this run of games here. Nice run of games. Fulham, Palace, West Ham, Bournemouth. High Focal, do you think Walker will start? I wouldn't be surprised, but it's really hard to say what Pep does. It might be Ken Solomon, Lewis and fullback, not sure. Really hard to say. Or Stones. But I think Walker's a sell. It's Chelsea away as well, so yeah, I think you have to sell Walker. I wouldn't be gambling on him starting at this point. But yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if he shakes things up after a bad result, drawing against Everton at home. No, you haven't missed anything, Kyles. James is just a placeholder. I'm going to sell James in this stream, probably for Ben White. Right, keep your questions coming in. Kishan says Salah or KDB. For me, it's got to be KDB because he's got the potential double game week 20. And then if Salah doubles in 21, you can make that switch. If he doesn't, then you just keep hold of him, and then you've got another double in 23, which is locked in. The double in 20 depends on the FA Cup results. I don't know if I can pull this up or not. What's the easiest way to do this? I'll just show you when the FA Cup fixtures are. Do it on Flash Scores. So these are the FA Cup games on the 7th of January. So basically after this game week, there's the FA Cup. And then there's game week 20. And what happens in this FA Cup will dictate whether Spurs and Man City have a double game week. If Tottenham draw against Portsmouth, which is really unlikely, so hopefully that doesn't happen, or if Man City draw their game against Chelsea, maybe, there's about a 70% chance of one of those two events happening. If either of those happen, if either draw, then there's no double game week 20 for Spurs and Man City. But if they draw or win, if they lose or win, then the double game week is locked in. Flame says, who are we raiding? I don't know, I'll have to have a look at who's live. I'm not sure who's live. Who do you want to raid? Still got like a good hour anyway. Max says, should I start Trippier or Saliba? I'm starting Gabriel, personally, I know it's going to probably come back to bite me, but I look at this game week and Newcastle's clean sheet odds, which are really low, and I think maybe this is one week where I can just bet against the masses who are probably all starting Trippier. I would back Arsenal to score home to Newcastle myself. I know Trippier can get attacking returns, but if we just pull up the clean sheet odds, I just think it's a small opportunity, and my season's going absolutely terrible. It's actually been the toughest season I've played in 12-13 years playing, the toughest start. So I feel like I just have to try a few things, and that feels like a little opportunity to not start Trippier. 19% chance of a clean sheet. Less than a 1 in 5 chance of Newcastle keeping a clean sheet against Arsenal. I know Trippier does have attacking returns in him, but that's my thinking. So I'll probably sell James for sure, play the back three and bench Trippier. Do you guys agree with that, or have I lost the plot? Does that make sense to punt on that? Nunez to Mitrovic from -4, asks Adrian. I wouldn't do it for a -4. I'd only consider it for free. Cesar says I've lost the plot completely. Jades agrees with the punt. Sean says sounds good. Oh yes, says lost the plot. Pretty divided on whether I've lost the plot or whether that makes sense. I don't know. Look, after this game week, you do not bench Trippier for any of these games, do you? He's just set and forget start. Maybe Liverpool in 24, but we're looking so far away now. There's going to be 4 game weeks where that's it. You start Trippier regardless. Ibe says I've lost the plot. Trippier's not suspended. He's fine. He'll start. Don't bench Newcastle. Yeah, I'm benching Almiron as well. It could be a big swing game week, which I really need. I mean, it's unbelievable how much has gone against me this season. I'll always own up to bad decisions, but this season, it's rather than bad decisions, it's been some bad luck. Last season, after I got to number 1, I made some bad decisions, but this season, there's not a lot I can point towards and say, what was I thinking? Almiron over Martinelli, that was close on the unlimited transfers. Top scoring midfielder, but complete wrong decision. Martinelli was the one. De Bruyne over Salah, I thought I'll save a transfer down the line. De Bruyne's on more points. Complete wrong decision. Sometimes it's fine margins like that in FPL, and if you land on the wrong side of a couple of those in a row, then it really can just ruin your rank. But yeah, well played if you did go for Martinelli over Almiron, or if you doubled up on Arsenal, or if you went for Salah as well, because I think Salah has every chance of getting something tonight as well. But City away to Chelsea, tougher fixture. And the injury crisis. Don't get me started on the injuries. I'm going to have to go on a rant in a minute. This season alone, I've had Mitrovic get injured, and then Fofana was injured. I've had James injured twice. Diaz got injured. Rodrigo got injured. Isak got injured. Oh, half my transfers have been fixing injuries. I'll spend another one here to get rid of James, who's injured. And then stuff like Cancelo gets benched twice, and I've got Edison. The upside there, if City could just keep a clean sheet against Leeds or Everton, the amount of points I gain on all the Cancelo owners. City top for expected goals conceded this season, but Edison doesn't keep a clean sheet in either game. Just unbelievable. Yeah, the Foden benching. I brought in Foden when he was on that incredible run, and then he got benched for 3 games in a row. It's just like, how do you... I don't know. Maybe they're bad decisions, but I think it's just been brutal this season. But I will always own up to bad decisions, and I think there's not many that just look like terrible decisions, really. But that's how FPL goes sometimes. I ran my team ID through the FPL season review tool, and it kind of like rates how your season's going, your luck, and so on. And my expected rank was like 13k, and my luck percent was like 23%. So I've had like 23% of things go against me. My variance was something like minus 24 points compared to what it should have been. Anyway, one of those seasons, but it's not over. We're halfway. We're not even halfway. Gameweek 19 is the halfway mark. But it's not even halfway because there's the double game weeks, which in my opinion are, bigger swing game weeks. If that makes sense. Because we're going to have a lot more fixtures in the second half of the season than the first half. So in a way, Gameweek 19, although it's halfway in terms of game weeks, it's not halfway in terms of fixtures. So there's a long way to go. Let's see if we can claw it back this game week. After that speech, Trippier goes on and hauls. James to Digne. I'm not touching Digne. Oh, I forgot about Digne as well. I started the season with Digne and he scores an own goal to wipe out his own clean sheet in the last minute of the game. What the hell? What can you do about that? An own goal as well. So he went from 6 points and bonus to minus points from an own goal. Oh, this season. You gotta love it. That's FPL. Trippier or Bueno? Trippier. Joshua's gone Martial to Mitrovic, free transfer. Let's do a poll whether you've got Mitrovic or not. I'm interested to know how many of you have got him or getting him. Just do yes and no in the poll. Be good to know what I'm up against as a no Mitrovic owner. Start KDB or Martinelli. You got to start KDB. You can't spend, what was he, 12.5 mil on KDB and bench him. You can't bench a premium like that in any game week, in my opinion. Oh, interesting. So 57% or 56% have got Mitrovic, 44% don't. It's less than I thought, which is kind of relieving to see actually as a non-owner. SH brought in Mitro for Nunez. Yeah, I think that's going to be a popular one. Interesting. So just over half of you have got Mitrovic or getting him. Yeah, I'm going to sell James, Angus. James has to go. I'm probably going to bring in Luke Shaw. They are top of the clean sheet odds, Man United. Problem is he's playing left centre-back at the moment. Based on what Ten Hag said, I think he'll play one more game at left centre-back. Ten Hag likes a left-footed centre-back, it seems, so I think that'll happen for one more game, which does reduce his threat, I suppose. But they are top of the clean sheet odds, and he has done well over the last two, so well done if you already had him. And then I'll bench him for the 2 games after this. You just have to be careful that you do have players you can start when the fixtures turn for Man United, because I'm going to be tripled up. If Man United don't get the double game week 20, then I'll be looking to sell Martial or Rashford, maybe both. Akil says KDB to Sterling for captain or James to Cuckoo. I wouldn't be selling De Bruyne after a potential double game week in 20. We have to remember that there's about a 70% chance of the double game week 20 happening, so I wouldn't be selling KDB right before. I know Sterling's a tempting captain and there is upside there, but it's not the best double game week for Chelsea, so I wouldn't make that transfer myself. So between those, I'd go James to Cucurella. Kishan says Trent or Cancelo. It's got to be Trent. Trent all day. Fabinho's back in the team. I read that I read that his wife had been pregnant, and people were saying maybe that's why he's had this drop in form this season, because, you know, people are saying it's difficult having a wife who's pregnant, difficult time rather in labour. He's had the baby now. Fabinho's back in the starting 11. He missed last game week because she gave birth, so tinfoil hat on. Liverpool are going to be back to their best now defensively. Trent becomes an incredible asset. You heard it here first, but I don't have the balls to see it through. I was going to do Darwin to Mitrovic and James to Trent, but I'm not seeing it through. But you never know. Maybe that's what it was all along. Fabinho's wife was the cause of Liverpool's downfall defensively. No, I'm just messing around. Bench Almiron or KDB? Almiron. Almiron or Martinelli? I would start Martinelli. Any Andreas captainers, asks Mycicle. Not me anyway. Amidara says 8 mil, fair price for Gakpo, or is it a bit much? What do you guys in the chat think about Gakpo for 8 mil? He's definitely a wait and see. He doesn't start tonight. Not sure if he makes the bench. We might see him start against Wolves, is it? Who have they got? No. Yeah, is it Wolves in the FA Cup? And then Brighton in Gameweek 20. Yeah, he's a wait and see. You know, if he hits the ground running like Diaz did, then yeah, 8 mil could be an incredible price. 14 appearances this season in the Dutch league, Eredivisie. I think he had 9 goals and 12 assists. But obviously it's the Dutch league, so you know it's a big step up going to the Premier League. But yeah, he could be a great pick for that much. Salah's not quite got up to the highs of the past, so maybe Darwin and Gakpo could be the answer. And you save tons of money doing that. Mo Omar says, bench 1 of Saka, Martinelli, Rashford, Andreas and Martial. It'd have to be Martinelli between all of those. Just about. I think you can't bench Martial. I know some people did it last game because Man United were away to Wolves, but not this week. Not home to Bournemouth. So Martinelli it would have to be. I won't be taking -4s this week. A few people asking about -4s to bring in Mitrovic, to sell Darwin or selling Nketiah for a -4. Not for a -4. I'd only consider those moves this week for free. Max Simmons says, fplfocal, you look like that guy who makes crazy cakes and chocolates on YouTube. What's his name? I'll have to look him up. Maybe he's a lost brother. Who should I captain, Haaland or Mitrovic? If I had Mitrovic, he'd be my captain. It's been a while since we've looked at how the Premier League players are doing in the virtual mini league. This is like a virtual mini league from fplbot.app, and it's a virtual mini league from all the Premier League players that play FPL. Adam Forshaw is doing the best out of all the Premier League players. He's 41k overall. Maddison is 234k. James Justin 884k. Saka's 2.1 mil. Guess he's better at football than fantasy football. And Nketiah's 4.5 mil. McGinn is 5.9 mil. He must have given up. Interestingly, Ramsey owned himself the most out of all the players. Jacob Ramsey owned himself for 17 game weeks this season. It's like, is that every game week? Excluding the blank. Odegaard's the last. I think Odegaard deleted his account. I think Maguire deleted his account as well. Deleted his FPL team. Which midfielder should I get for 6.9 mil? It'd have to be an Arsenal mid. It has to be Odegaard or Martinelli. Arsenal are just unbelievable value this season. As soon as I possibly can, I want to double up. Either Martinelli or Odegaard with Saka. Or maybe I'll get rid of Martial for Nketiah, because Jesus is a while away from return yet. In fact, when's Jesus expected back? Yeah, I mean, it's a while until Jesus is back. Premier Injuries says the 25th of February. So that's almost 2 months. So where does that take us till? 25th of Feb, that's game week 25. So, I mean, there's a lot of games here that you could catch Nketiah with for like 6.5, 6.6 mil. Amari Guishon is his name. Alright, I'll check him out after the stream. Gabriel or Bueno? I would go with whatever the clean sheet odds say this week. Let's have a look at who are rated higher. Arsenal 36% chance. Where's Wolves? Wolves 23.5% chance. So I'd go with Arsenal. Yeah, if any of you have got 50-50 calls on defenders, then pause this or just have a quick look at this. This is the clean sheet odds for this game week. You have to be careful. Obviously, it's not always as simple as who's got higher, because you wouldn't bench Trippier if someone has slightly better clean sheet odds who doesn't have attacking potential. But yeah, I try to include this, I do include this on my game week tips videos. I've not been able to do the tips videos for the last couple of game weeks because the schedule has just been mental and I've not been well. But that should be back. In fact, it will be back for game week 20 onwards. So that's good. THJD says, is Almiron to Rashford worth it? Also, is captain and Mitra over Haaland acceptable? It's definitely acceptable. He's top of the projections for this game week, so in fact, if I had him, I would captain him. Aaron to Rashford. I'm not sure on that one. This game week, obviously, Rashford's expected to do way, way better. It's just longer term, I'm not sure. I would be more tempted to spend an Aaron transfer on someone like Ødegaard or Martinelli for about the same price. They've got the definite double game week 23, remember. I know you can wait and just do that transfer later on, but if you go Rashford, then you're going to have to sell again in not long. So I think I would swerve Rashford now. What do you guys in chat think? What is he, 6.9 mil? Yeah, don't get me wrong, I think he does well this game week, but you have to look long term. I think I prefer Martinelli or Ødegaard, who are cheaper as well. Start Castagna or White? I would go with White, I believe. I'd just go with the clean sheet odds. What to do with James? James is a definite sell. Who to get him for? You could go Cucurella. The problem with Chelsea is, first of all, it's not a great double game week. Secondly, Cucurella, it's unclear what happens when Chilwell's back. You know, Chilwell could come into the starting 11 at some point. Probably not this game week, so you're okay. But it's a short-term pick. Same with Azpilicueta once James is back. Maybe Luke Shaw's an option. Yeah, it's an awkward game week, really, because Newcastle defence is normally really good value, but you don't want to bring them in against Arsenal. But those are a couple of options. Sean says, start Bueno or Solanke. Oh, God, Solanke or Bueno? I think Bueno. I think I'd bench Solanke. You know, Man United are top of the clean sheet odds. I think you have to bench Solanke there. Thanks for the super chat. Best captain pick. Yeah, we haven't looked at the expected points for a while, so I'll pull this back up again. This is from FPL Review. These are the top projections for Game Week 19. Can you read that right? Harry says sell Solanke. That's the other option. But yeah, I'd be benching him. I'd be benching him away to Man United. Who should I captain, Haaland or Mitrovic? If I had Mitrovic, I would be captaining him. With a double game, you could get 2 rolls of the dice. Arguably, for that reason, I should be going with like Kepa or Cucurella, but I'm not very convinced by Chelsea defence based on recent form. Kulusevski replacements. It's got to be the Arsenal mids. Saka, Martinelli, Ødegaard. Take your pick. They're all excellent picks. Probably Ødegaard's the best of the bunch right now. Saka out, Mount in. I don't think I'd be selling Saka. He's given you no reason to sell him. 6 goals, 7 assists, consistent points on penalties. Not for me. I mean, he hasn't blanked twice in a row since Game Week 2 and 3. What more can you ask for? Any team news? Yeah, we've got the Liverpool lineup for tonight's game. It's Alisson, Trent, Konate, Van Dijk, Tsimikas, Fabinho, Thiago, Elliott, Ox, Salah and Nunez. So a couple of changes from the last game. Konate comes in for Matip. Fabinho comes in for Henderson. And Tsimikas comes in for Robertson, who picked up that injury. Other than that, I don't think so. Let me just check if there's been anything else. Doesn't look like anything else. I think that's it. Thoughts on Havertz? I just don't see any reason why to spend like an extra 0.9 mil on Havertz when you've got Mitrovic for less. And I wouldn't feel very confident about having both Havertz and Mitrovic. You know, this game week looks really good, but long term looks a bit iffy. you know, after this double game week, Fulham have got Newcastle away, really tough game. Tottenham at home, tough game. Chelsea away, probably tough game. I guess you don't know. I know Mitrovic can get you returns in any of these, but yeah, I just don't see any reason to go for Havertz over Mitro. If you want to really just go differential for the sake of it, you're just playing for fun or nothing, or you're trying to just chase the upside, then I guess Havertz is the one, but that's my take anyway. Yeah, Mitrovic is a suspension risk as well. So there are players that are on 4 yellow cards, and if they get one more before they've played 19 games, then they are suspended for 1 match. Saka's another one of those. Saliba's one of those. Mitrovic is one of those. So they can't get booked before 19 games played. After 19 games, it goes up to 10. Goes up to 10 yellow cards to get suspended. Delia says, I like the background music. This song is my cousin. I asked him if I could include it on a stream, and he was like, yeah, that's cool. He's on Spotify. It's Wilding. Wilding on Spotify. The song's called Boxer Meet Canvas. Yeah, I didn't even know he made music until the other day, and I was like, what? And it's actually pretty good. So, yeah, look up Wilding on Spotify if you want to listen to that. Start Cancelo or Almiron? Has to be Almiron, doesn't it? Has to be. I think Cancelo starts, but then after that, it's hard to say. I think he does shake it up and starts Cancelo, but I think I'd give it to Almiron. Close one, though. Right, we've got just over half an hour till the deadline. Thank you all for tuning in. Hope you've enjoyed the stream so far. Hit like if you haven't. Let's get it to 1k likes. Everyone stop what you're doing, hit like, and then we'll carry on with the stream. Loads more to talk about before the deadline. But let's get the stream to 1k like. If you are enjoying the stream, obviously you can hit dislike. That's alright as well. I won't take it personally if the dislikes outnumber the likes. But yeah, thank you for tuning into the stream so far. It's a quick turnaround. We're back for the first double game week of the season, first game week of the year. Not the most exciting double game week, but it is a double game week. In fact, let's do a poll on how many double game week players you've got. That'd be interesting to find out. How many double game week players have you got? 1 to 2, 2 to 3, 3 to 4. And then 5 plus. I guess that makes sense. There we go. I mean, you can chuck it in chat as well. Let me know. But I've stuck a poll up. No, I'm not gambling on James. James is leaving the team. I just haven't made my transfer yet. I'll sell James for sure, in all likelihood. Who to bench? K. Martinelli and Almiron. Delia's got no double gimmick players. Noctambuli's on none. Mikel's on 4. Tomb's on 4. Rocco says, why are you starting James? He's a placeholder. I'm going to sell James in a minute. I'll sell James for sure. Benching Trippier, which is a bit risky. And I'm not getting Mitrovic, which might be a bit risky as well. But I can talk more about that if you guys missed while I was explaining the thinking behind that. So the poll was, how many double gimmick players have you got? Wow, it's actually pretty close. 37% have got 1 to 2. 37% have got 2 to 3. 23% have got 3 to 4. And 2% have got 5 or more. 5 or more? Who would you even have if it was 5? Mitrovic, Andreas, Mount, Kukurea, Kepa or something. If anyone's got 6, I think you've gone too much. You've gone too all in a double game week. Two isn't both answers. What a stupid poll. Sorry, that was such a stupid poll. I've got 1 to 2 and then I've got 2 to 3. I'm ending that poll. Sorry about that. That was useless. Thanks for voting though. Almost got 1,000 votes on that. Gabriel Martinelli. Martinelli. And Ketty to Mitrovic. I don't mind that. I think that's okay. Ryko says, can you show us the clean sheet odds, Oscar, please? Yep, these are the clean sheet odds. If anyone ever needs these this is from checkthechance.com, and this is the website I use for the Gameweek tips videos, which will be back for Gameweek 20, by the way. And I'm hoping we'll get a nice double game week for Man City and Tottenham in Gameweek 20. Yeah, that's where I get the clean sheet odds from, and the goal scorer odds. Jesus or Isak captain? It's got to be Jesus. Got to be Jesus. I'll go Jesus captain, Isak vice captain. Rashford captain. I don't mind Rashford captain. I was talking a bit about Rashford earlier. I really like this fixture for Man United. Home against Bournemouth, who've conceded the most goals this season. I think Neto's a big miss in goal for them. Besides Bazunu, not sure if I said his name right, Travers has got the worst XG prevented in the league. His XG prevented is really negative. It's something like -9. And then Neto's is the highest. He's prevented something like 3 expected goals. So such a massive disparity between the two goalkeepers. So yeah, I think he's a big miss. Shit, I just got a message from my girlfriend. I think I stole her key. No, have I got her key on me? Oh, I'll deal with that after the stream. What have I done? I think I've left with her key and now she can't get in. Well, we've got 30 minutes till the deadline, so you'll have to wait 30 minutes. I'll just message. I'll check just live at the moment. Sorry. Oh, I've had a mare. Where's Teddy? Teddy's here. He's to the right of me. He's looking at me, but I don't know why. He doesn't really like to get involved in streams anymore. He used to love it. Sleeping on the doormat. I'm in so much trouble. Mitrovic or Haaland captain? If I had Mitrovic, he'd be my captain. Yeah, Mitrovic. Trossard or Andreas? Andreas. Is Robertson playing? No Robertson tonight. Simicast starts and left back. Jordan, thanks for the super chat. He says Martial to Mitrovic. Is your space key not working? Martial to Mitro. Nunez to Havertz. James to Shaw from -4. Oh no, I'm not keen on that. Not keen on that myself. It feels like you're just attacking a double game week too much. I feel like Martial or Nunez are going to hurt you there. That's why I'm not selling either. I can't sell one of Martial or Darwin and then they go and hurt me, which I can see happen in this game week. And I wouldn't take a -4 for a double game weeker. Or I guess for sure. No, I don't think I'd do that. If I had to sell one of these two for Mitrovic, it would be Martial, but very reluctantly. But I'm prioritising James to Shaw. That's going to be my transfer. So James to Shaw is going to be the move I make, almost certainly. I'm really tempted to do Darwin to Mitrovic and James to Trent. It's a very aggressive transfer, and I think probably not the best one, but yeah, it crossed my mind. I think I won't do it though. So we've got 30 minutes till the deadline. Keep your questions coming. Roko says, why are you risking not having Martinelli? I went for Almiron over Martinelli when we had the unlimited transfers. My plan was that I thought they'd score similarly. Obviously that's not happened, which has gone horribly against me as well. But I thought I could bench Almiron for Andreas this week at least, because he's away to Arsenal, which should be a tough game for Newcastle up against the league leaders. Which is crazy to say, by the way. Arsenal first in the league, I think by 7 points. Delia says, I finally did it. I got rid of Nunez from Mitrovic. It feels good, Oscar, believe me. I bet it feels good, but I don't know. I still think Darwin's going to come good. I'm going to die on this hill and it's going to be wrong, but I think he's going to come good. Clark says, deadline in 30 minutes. Closing in. Kieran says Foden to Mount or Estepinian to Trent. 3 mil banked. Cool. I prefer the second one. That's difficult. The thing is, I actually really like Estepinian. Brighton are very likely to get a double game week. I'll just pull up Ben Crelin's predictions. He thinks there's about 60% chance that Brighton double in game week 21. So I feel like if you sold Estepinian for Trent, you might later regret it. And it's just whether Foden finally starts a game or not. I think I would do Foden to Mount. I think I'd go Foden to Mount. Take the double game weeker. But yeah, for anyone that missed it when we were talking about this earlier, Man City and Tottenham's not a guaranteed double game week 20 yet. Both these teams need to win or lose in the FA Cup. They can't draw. If they draw, then they play the following midweek. So 70% chance of that happening, of the double game week happening. Ben Crelin reckons there's a 55% chance of Man United doubling in 20 as well. Again, we won't know until after the FA Cup. And then, of course, we've got the double game week 23 for Arsenal and Man City, which is locked in. That one's a definite. That won't change. So, yeah, I'll do Foden to Mount. Andrea says, Cancelo to Shaw or Cucurella or burn a transfer? I've got 2 free transfers and I'm happy with the rest of my team. I wouldn't burn a transfer. I think it does make sense to sell Cancelo now. We just can't say for certain anymore that he's nailed like he used to be, like he has been this season and last season. So I think it makes sense to sell him. Cucurella and Shaw are the 2 players that I would consider as well. It depends on the rest of your defenders, because Cucurella, you can play him for that Palace game, whereas Shaw's got Man City and Arsenal, where you definitely don't want to sell. You definitely don't want to play Shaw in those games. So I'd go based on that. Cucurella, I think, probably edges it there. Angus says, what's your favourite kind of cucumber? Are there different kinds of cucumber? What sort of question is that? Too Fresh says, got Haaland, Martial and Kane. Used a free transfer for Mitrovic. Personally, I'm swerving Mitrovic. I might be totally wrong with this one. I'm swerving him. If I was going to sell any of those, it would definitely be Martial. I wouldn't sell Kane because he might double in 20. And obviously, you'd never sell Haaland right now. I just feel like it's such a good fixture for Man United, home to Bournemouth, that I'm hesitant to sell Martial, who has really good goal scorer odds as well. I'm really hesitant to make that transfer myself. And if you've only got 1 free transfer, then I think taking 2 into Game Week 20 is fine. That's my intention. Lucas, thanks for the super chat as well. He says KDB to Salah despite the double. Not for me. I said the same thing last week. I think those that went with KDB or those that went with Salah, you've made your bed and you kind of just got to lie in it now. If you sell KDB to Salah now and then Man City get their double game week 20, the first thing that's going to come to your mind is, oh, it'd be great to have De Bruyne for that double game week. Why did I sell him? Obviously, you could make that move and gamble that it doesn't happen. There's about a 30% chance that there's no double game week for Man City and Tottenham. But for me, I think you just have to stick with it now. That's my intention. What's going to be a real headache is if Liverpool do get a double game week 21, which Ben Crelin, I have to go back to Ben's tweet here. He says there's an 85% chance that Liverpool double in either game week 21 or 26. Again, this is in his opinion, 85%. So if it does end up being, if for any reason 26 isn't possible, then it's almost certainly going to be in 21. But that's going to be an absolute nightmare to navigate. And again, that's why I think having 2 transfers banked is probably the play this week. As much as I'd like to do some aggressive transfers. Because you could do something like, you go to De Bruyne, you go De Bruyne to Salah in 21, and then Salah back to De Bruyne in 23 when they double. It's a bit messy though, and it means you can't do much with the rest of your team. I forgot what the question even was now, but hopefully that answers it. Tyler says, Martial or Darwin for Mitrovic. I've got 2 free transfers and plan to roll the one. I've got James, but plan to deal with him next week. If I had to sell one, it'd be Martial. Very reluctantly. If I had to sell one, it'd be Martial. I just don't look at it this week and think I'm happy to sell Martial or Darwin. So that's why I'm just thinking I'm not going to do either. I'm just going to stick with them both. I could be totally wrong. But the other thing at the back of the head, like I said earlier, is that Man United have a small chance of a double Gameweek 20. So I'd hate to also sell Martial and then he doubles in 20 anyway. And the same for Darwin and the double into 21. And obviously there is that small chance that Mitrovic gets a yellow. Probably doesn't happen. But if he gets booked in the first game, then he's suspended for the second, and then it's a single game week for him. I don't know, this game week is a real headache. What are you guys doing? Are you guys bringing in Mitrovic? Or have you got him already? Or are you just swerving him? I feel like anyone who gives a confident answer what you should do is just pretending to know for fact, because it's just really difficult. It's a really hard one to assess, in my opinion. Maybe do the opposite of me, because I'm having the worst start to any season I've had in 13 years. So maybe a Mitrovic is the answer if you want to go opposite to me. Aiden's swerving him. Any Tony news? All I've seen is that there's a chance he makes the game. Adam in the chat, how we doing, Adam? Adam's bringing him in. Rajvan says the ref for the Fulham v Leicester game gave 74 yellow cards in 16 games in the Championship. Alright, Teddy's here. Oh, maybe this is why he doesn't join the streams. There you go, you happy, Ted? It's been like a couple of months since you've seen Teddy. The problem is he's much bigger now. Hopefully he hasn't... This was the other reason as well. He used to unplug the mic. Alright, we'll just leave him there. Teddy, they're saying hi. He looks halfway round. He's playing it cool. Shane says, after that I'm captain in Haaland. Ask Teddy if he's bringing Mitrovic in. Teddy, you bringing Mitro in? Shook his head. What's my bedtime? I'm a bit of a night owl, I'll be honest. I normally go to bed at like 1. It's the perk of doing YouTube full time though. You don't have an alarm. So I tend to wake up a bit later. But I do often work late as well. I'll often be editing videos for you guys at like 8, 9 PM to post the next morning. So there's pros and cons, but I can't complain. I love doing this. Jay says, hey mate, I'm in a similar position to you where I sold Martinelli. I'm not sure whether to get him back, but who for? For Almiron, start Trippier or Castagna. I'd start Trippier. Did the music just stop? Oh, the song stopped. My earphones made a really weird noise, and I thought they'd stop playing. Sorry, you sold Martinelli. You're not sure whether to get him back. Yeah, it is difficult because this week Martinelli has the better fixture, but there's every chance Almiron kicks on again for this run of games here. Fulham at home, Palace away, West Ham home. So I'm undecided. I may end up selling Rashford instead, or maybe I'll use the spare cash to upgrade Andreas. So yeah, I'm not sure. I don't think this is the week to do it. Start Trippier or Castagna? I'd start Trippier. Simon says bench Trippier and Botman for Dunk and Bueno. No, I don't think I'd do that. I'd start Trippier and Dunk. Leave it at that. I mean, I'm gambling on Gabriel, starting Gabriel, because he's got better clean sheet odds by some margin. Well, not some margin, but they are better than Trippier's. It feels like one week where you can potentially bet against Trippier. It might not come off, but you know, if Arsenal put a couple past Newcastle, which wouldn't be surprising, playing at home, the form they're in. If Trippier finally gets like a 2-pointer, if Gabriel keeps a clean sheet, then I've gained decent points on the masses there, but it is a bit of a gamble. What's my move this week? I'm probably going to do James to Shaw. I'll lock that in shortly. Pun not intended. Varane or Dunk? If that's who to start, Varane, 100%. Rocco says, is it too risky? Trent for James and Mitro for Darwin. It's a little bit risky. I don't hate it at all. I honestly think that's a good combination of moves. I just think I want to take 2 transfers into the next game week. So I'm just going to go back to basics and get Shaw, who's got the best clean sheet odds this week. But I really do like those combination of moves. Especially if Brentford are without Tony tonight. It'll be a big miss. And especially if Fabinho can get back to his best. He is back in the team tonight. He starts. Carliga says Watkins, Martial or Mitrovic. I have Haaland and Kane. Mitrovic, 100%. No brainer that one. He's top of the points projections this week. It's got to be Mitro. He's got the double game week. Devil says rolling 1 transfer. Yeah, I'm rolling 1. I've got 2 transfers. I'll spend 1 to fix James and then roll the other one. Did I miss a super chat? Sorry, let me scroll up. Castagno and Greenwood to Bueno Martial or Bueno Mitro. Bueno Mitrovic. Start one of Akanji, Trippier and Bueno. Who do you go? I'd start Trippier between all of those. Captain Mitrovic or Rashford. If I had Mitrovic, he'd be my captain. But as I said earlier, if I just pull up that screenshot again from the experts video early today, hopefully you'll watch that. Thank you if you did. They're really spread on captaincy this week. And it does feel like a game week where you can go with your gut a bit. I think Rashford's great. I think Haaland's fine, obviously. Even players like Havertz, if you want to take a punt. I think Salah's still fine. Mitrovic is the obvious one that a lot of people are on. But it's a week where captaincy is spread for once. So don't be afraid to go with your gut, basically. So yeah, I think Rashford's a great pick. Mitrovic obviously is. Haaland obviously is. Mr. Consistent. Oh, there we go. 1k likes. Thank you for that, guys. Thanks for all the likes and for tuning in and so on. The turnout's been crazy for this one. Why is that? Is Andy not live or something? Or are you guys honest regulars of my streams? Hassir says James and Martial to White and Mitro. Thoughts? I like it. Again, I'm personally not going to sell Martial for Mitro. I did consider it, but I can't bring myself to sell Mitrovic. Man United playing in form. They're at home against Bournemouth, who've conceded the most goals. I just can't bring myself to do it. But I think that's an understandable transfer. I do. It's what, go with your gut. Honestly, this week, go with your gut when it comes to Mitrovic. If you think he can deliver across the 2 games and not get booked in the first, then absolutely go for it. It's the fixtures after that put me off as well. Newcastle away, Tottenham home, Chelsea away. I need to make my transfer still, actually. How long we got? 15 minutes? I'll lock my transfer in a minute. Yeah, I'm doing James to Shaw for those that missed a bit earlier. What transfers are you guys all making this week? Interested to know the transfer trends among you guys. What are you guys doing? James to Shah, Ben Carroll's doing. Jack Milner says, what to do? I have Foden, Walker and James with the same forwards as you. I have 2 transfers with 0.3 million on the bank. Should I go James for sure? I have Trent. Yeah, I think you've got to fix James first. He's the immediate problem. So you fix James, you go to Shaw. He's a really good option. You've got Trent already. I think Trent's a really good option. Foden obviously is a problem as well, but you have to start with James, who literally won't play. It's just whether to use the second transfer, because Walker's a problem as well. Walker, Foden. If you haven't got any Arsenal mids, I would actually go for an Arsenal mid first. I don't know if you've got Martinelli or Saka or someone like that. I think I'd actually go there first. Failing that, I think my second move, assuming that you've got someone who can cover Walker, is I would get rid of Foden. I think you just have to cut your losses with Foden. He might start this one, he might do well, but you just have to cut your losses. Foden to Mount. Right, let's make my transfer before I forget or before the servers crash. Right, so in fact I've got it there already. Let me refresh to make sure it's not glitched or anything. So James out, Shaw in. I'm just going to leave it a couple more minutes in case of any last minute news, but that's my plan. I mean, Man United are top of the clean sheet odds, so it just makes sense to make that move this week. I'm just going to do it now. James to Shaw, confirmed transfers. There it is. Kepa vice captain. Take a screenshot of that. Stick that on Twitter. Game week 19. James to Shaw. Such a boring transfer, isn't it? But there we go. It's done. Almiron, Trippier. I guess that's fine in that order. Haaland captain. Alright, there we go. What transfers did you guys make? Have you guys got Mitrovic or not? Freemo says, is Robbo playing for Liverpool? No Robbo tonight. I've got the Liverpool lineup here. I'll quickly put it on screen while I read the rest of the chat. That's the Liverpool lineup for tonight. No Robbo. Tsimikas in left back. Fabinho starts. Matip starts. Matip bench for Konate. Or maybe he's not even on the bench. Ahmed asked the same question. That's the Liverpool team news. Not got anything on Brentford, but that's Liverpool. No Robbo. So yeah, if you've got Robbo, then that's a priority transfer as well. Get rid. Unless you've got good players you can start in his place, I suppose, then you might be able to wait a week. He does feel like a bit of a rotation risk, doesn't he? Is Tony playing? Not sure on Tony. All we know that is a chance of playing. Nothing definitive. It did look bad. He was stretched it off of a knee injury, but this was the latest news from yesterday. That Tony's in contention for the Liverpool game. But yeah, if he misses out, I mean, that's a big boost for those of you that have the likes of Trent. Probably not that many. Van Dijk. Did you guys see Magnus Carlsen's team? He literally forgot to make transfers, or maybe got hit by the crash over the World Cup break. Didn't make a single transfer. He still got a green arrow because he had some players like Van Dijk who scored. Joe asks a good question. He says, Fulham have Hull in the FA Cup before the Chelsea game. Wouldn't Mitrovic's yellow mean he misses that match? No, it doesn't. If a player gets a yellow card suspension, it doesn't carry over to other competitions. So if Mitrovic gets booked against Leicester, he misses Chelsea and it becomes a single game week. It's not very likely, obviously, but if that happens, he'll be eligible to play in the FA Cup still. He'll miss Chelsea. Luke Smith says, would you switch Robertson for Cucurella or hold? It depends who you can play in his absence, Luke. If you've got a good option to play, then I think I'd be tempted to leave it. But I'm just not sure about Robertson's long-term minutes. Do you know what I mean? Because Tsimikas is actually a really good option to have if needed. So, oh, that's tough. I think I would do it. It does depend though who you've got. You know, if you've got a good option that you can play off the bench, then I wouldn't waste a transfer on that. Williams on Rashford captain. Who have you guys got captain? Mitro, Rashford, Haaland, Salah. I hate my transfer this week. It's a boring transfer, but it just makes sense. Shiv's on Mitro. Thompson is on Mitro. Luca's on Mitro. Watson's on Haaland. I think I pronounced your name completely wrong. Sorry. Watkins captain. Are you serious? Fair play. Jordan says, if you had to choose Martial to Mitrovic or Havertz, who would you go for? Martial looks a bit out of form to me, so having just Rashford should be enough. If I had to pick one of those, Mitrovic all day. Mitrovic. He's on penalties. He's in better form over the season. You know, Chelsea's first game is against City. That's a really tough game. What are the odds that Havertz gets something out of that? It's possible, but I think I prefer Fulham's fixture pairing more. Leicester have been leaky recently. Chelsea haven't been great either, so Mitrovic all day. Thank you to Quad and Rakagumi for becoming a member. Thank you, Rakagumi, for the 3 months. He says, bench one of Cancelo, Trippier, Shaw and Gabriel. I've benched Trippier. It's a little bit bold, but the reason was that this is a tough game, all right, away to Arsenal. Newcastle's clean sheet odds were something like 18-19%. So they're basically less than a 1 in 5 chance of them keeping a clean sheet. After that, Trippier is a permanent captain, so I feel like it's an opportunity to bet against him for 1 week. But it depends where you're ranked as well, because my season's been the toughest start I've ever had. My rank's not good, so I feel like I have to try a few things like that. If it comes off, if Arsenal manage to keep a clean sheet and put a couple past Trippier, then that's a good points gain on the masses. But Trippier's kind of the protective pick, isn't he? You don't bench Trippier if you're a good rank, or at least it's risky. There is upside to go even higher, but it's risky. That's my thinking. When I asked earlier whether that's a good idea or if it makes sense or if I've lost the plot, you guys are pretty divided on that. So yeah, it'll be interesting to see how that one plays out. Could be a bad call, but yeah, for me, Gabriel. Yeah, thank you, Quad, for becoming a member. Appreciate that. If anyone's interested in becoming a member, it supports the channel, allows me to do this full time for you guys. You get early access to my videos. There's a private channel on Discord where members are chatting. You get a little badge by your name in the comments and chat. And Mason says you've lost the plot, Oscar. I might well have. HBVN says, would 1.2 mil be your lowest finish ever? By far, yeah, it'd be easily my worst finish. This has been my worst start, toughest season I've played in 13 years playing. Obviously we're only halfway, or not even that, so I'd like to think I won't finish where I am now, unless I have a heart attack after tonight, or if like Mitrovic hauls this game week, I might die of a heart attack watching that unfold. But I'd like to think by the time this season's over, I'll have a better rank than that. But yeah, so far it's been my worst start. One thing I do that I recommend you guys doing is under Gameweek history or on Live FPL. On Live FPL, you can export your season after it's over, and you can. I sound like such a virgin saying this, but you can like plot your Gameweek ranks on a chart and see how you ranked over the season. And you can see how your rank slowly got to a better rank as the season progressed. So I do that every season just because it's nice to compare. But yeah, this has been my toughest start. Jack Milner says, tempted by Rashford captain. Sorry, late to the stream. Yeah, I think he's a great option. I'll pull up the predicted points one more time from FPL Review. I believe he was up there. Mitrovic is obviously the one that everyone's on. Mount obviously has the double. I think Rashford is honestly a really good option. Haaland and Salah, you know, don't be afraid to go for a single game weeker, basically. It's not quite like last season where we had Dennis captain, Weghorst captain, Josh King captain, and they'd got nothing. There is more potential with Mitrovic and I suppose Mount, but you know, they're not outstanding picks compared to others like Game Week 20. We've got City doubling. That's when you might even think about triple captain in Haaland. Carliga says bench one out of Kane, Kevin De Bruyne, Martinelli, Rashford, Almiron. I would bench Almiron. Alright, we've got less than 5 minutes till the deadline. Keep your questions coming in. Appreciate you all tuning in. Good turnout to the stream today. If you have enjoyed it so far, drop a like on the stream. Subscribe to the channel if you're not already. I do deadline streams every game week all season and lots of videos where I share my team, the top players for projections, the experts. Hopefully you guys know all this already and you're already subscribers. But if you're interested in that and my content, then hit subscribe. Che Adams or Almiron? I think I'd give Adams the nod there. I'd bench Almiron. Some of my takes this game week I think are a bit controversial though. Questions like Trippier or White. For me it's White, but from where I'm ranked I want to just take an opportunity to move up higher and hope that Arsenal can put a couple past Newcastle. So for me, it's White or Gabriel or whoever you've got, the Arsenal defence. And then after that, don't get me wrong, Trippier's starting for me every game. Every game. I'm too Arsenal biased. Do you think so? I mean, it's not just like if I had Gabriel or White. There's other defenders that I'd be tempted to start over Trippier. Maybe you're right, though. I wish I was more Arsenal biased and I actually got Martinelli over Almiron. But here we are. I think it'll be a hard match as well, don't get me wrong. Captain Sterling. Yeah, I don't mind that at all. I think Sterling's a fair option. Yeah, as I said earlier, this is the game week where you can afford to take a punt or two. There's lots of options. Captaincy is going to be pretty spread. There's still going to be lots of people on Haaland, obviously, but there's going to be people on Mitrovic. People are going to be on Salah tonight. There's going to be people on Rashford. People on Mount, maybe even Havertz. You know, there's loads of options this game week. For once, we're not all on Haaland captain. And surely you guys like that, right? Surely you guys like that when the captaincy spread. Because when it's everyone's on Haaland, it's just a 10-man game every game week, isn't it? And the potential to move up is reduced. So, yeah, I think it's a good game. I say that, I'm on Haaland captain, but there's not going to be as many people on Haaland captain this week. Harry says, Kepa, Arrizabalaga cap. Yeah, maybe. I don't hate that either. But what are the chances of a clean sheet? Maybe against Fulham? I feel like I'm already doubled up. I don't need to go all in on Chelsea. You know, if I captain Kepa, then I'm basically getting triple clean sheet points. I'm on triple Chelsea clean sheet, which just seems a bit all in. Pereira captain as well. Yeah, I'm not sure about Pereira for captain. What do you guys think? Is Pereira in the same boat as Dennis and Weghorst of last season? No, I'm not thinking of bench boosting. There's going to be lots of double game weeks to come. I'll quickly just show you guys the postponements that we have already. And there will be lots more to come. These are the postponements. There's 11 already. So these are all going to get moved into a later game week. So there's no reason to bench boost now, because later on in the season there's going to be a huge double game week. Maybe the biggest ever whenever all these get rescheduled to. So yeah, I think there's no need to bench boost this week. There are going to be weeks, don't get me wrong, where we score well on our bench. You know, if Almiron and Trippier do well, then it could be one of those weeks for me. Maybe if Edison keeps a clean sheet, but I think I would save it. Is there anyone live who we can raid? Who's live doing FPL stream? Harry? That's the deadline. That's 4 PM UK time. So I'm on Haaland captain. Kepa vice captain. My transfer was James to Shaw. I've benched Trippier. The site crashed. Did it? So anyone doing an FPL stream here we can go raid? I think YouTube actually has a proper like raids thing now, but I need to look at how to do that. Who should we raid? Who's Paul Livesley? 3 viewing. Paul Livesley? I haven't seen his stuff, I'll be honest. Trying to listen.
The game will be available soon. Thanks very much for joining. Those of you that did.
Oh, is he finishing?
Appreciated. If you haven't subscribed, please do so. Do it the notification.
The problem is, right, sometimes I raid someone and then they're like, bye, and then everyone's like gone to a dead stream.
Yeah, that's the best way to get to make sure.
Should we head over there anyway?
Like I say, there will be more between the next game weeks now moving forward.
Let's do it, just in case he stays live. Oh no, it's just ended. Alright, we're not going to do that. Who should we raid? Should we just go safe with Harry? We'll go over to Harry. This is where Harry's like, bye! Alright, we're heading over to Harry's stream. Send in my love. Enjoy the game, Mikkel. And thank you for tuning in. As always, appreciate all your support, for the likes, for the subscriptions, and enjoy the game week. And I'll see you soon for the next one. Focal out.